Hi there. This video is to show you how to make homemade carrot soup. Basically the point is to show you how cheap and easy it is to make your own soup as compared to going to the supermarket and buying like Heinz or anything like that. For example, a can of Heinz soup is 95 pence generally in the supermarkets, and you've got about 400 mils in it. So that's 400 mils of water, give or take. And that's how much it fills the bowl. This recipe is going to show you how to pretty much 3/4 fill that bowl, and on the prices today it should cost about 84 pence to make a whole bowl of soup, or a whole bucket of soup, instead of your 95 pence for your can. So first of all, what equipment do you need? So you need a decent sized soup pot like that. You can get that in any half decent supermarket. You're going to need a measuring jug to make the stock, and a hand blitzer to blitz it at the end. That costs about £5 at Tesco. Ingredients wise, you need a kilogram of carrots, and right now in Aldi's these are 29 pence for a kilogram. You need roughly 400-500 gram of potatoes. I use the red ones because they've got a nice flavour. They're a wee bit more expensive, but you can get white ones, they're just as good really for soup. These cost about £2 for 2.5 kilos, so that's about 40 pence, 40-50 pence for your potatoes, and an onion. Again, you buy these in bulk in Aldi's, but I use them a lot in my cooking. So one onion, depending on weight, costs about 6 to 10 pence. So, and you need stock cubes. 3 of these you're going to need for that. So these are 36 pence for a pack of 12. So that works out at 9 pence for your 3 stock cubes. On top of that, you need a wee dash of olive oil in your pot, and I like to put in a wee bit of butter as well, not much. I've not costed these because it's literally a dash of oil and a little chunk of butter, so it's pennies for that. So first of all, what you want to do is get your pan and put in, let's say, a dash of olive oil, like that, nothing more. And then with your butter, I use unsalted butter by the way, just so there's no extra salt going in. You'll actually need the end off a block of butter for that. And just chuck it in. And just put that in the hob, but don't put it on the heat just now. Right. So first things first, prepare your veg. Alright. You got to top and tail the carrots. Some people would peel these for soup. I don't bother because you're just boiling it and then you go and blitz it. So I'll leave the skin on because a lot of the goodness is underneath the skin anyway. So you want to top and tail them all, and then just slice them into bits like that, maybe half a centimetre thick. You want them all roughly the same. So you want them for that kind of size, and then that way it all cooks at the same rate. So I'm going to go ahead and cut up the rest of these carrots, and then I'll come back to you with the rest of the veg. Okay, so there's the carrots all chopped up. It literally takes a couple of minutes. Again, roughly chopped, as long as they're roughly the same size. Next up, the onion. So top and tail the onion. Again, I'm using the red onions. You can just get white ones. I just like the red ones because they are a bit, I think they've got a much nicer flavour. But it's entirely up to yourself. With the carrots, if you're just going to make soup, just go and buy the smart price ones, or the Tesco Saver ones, or go to Aldi's because that's cheaper I find anyway, but they're not always handy. The smart price ones, the only difference is that they don't look as pretty, they're not the right shape, they may have been damaged when they've been harvested. There's absolutely nothing wrong with them, they're just not pretty enough to go and show, that's why they're smart price ones. So you should really always buy them. So the onion, I've top and tailed it, and I've taken off the outside kind of layer, and you want to cut it in half. And you just want to kind of roughly chop this. So what I do is I cut through the onion like that, minding your fingers obviously. Comes in handy if you've got a sharp knife, and then just slice it like that. Again, watching your fingers. And when you get to the end, just kind of roughly do that sort of thing. Again, it's not a big deal. Make sure it's all kind of small lumps like that. Just so it cooks fairly quickly. If the bigger bits like that, you can even break it. And do the same with the other half. There you go. So that's your onion prepared. The last thing is the potatoes. Add potatoes to carrot soup because it thickens it, and I quite like a kind of thicker soup. You can do carrot soup just with carrot and onions, but the carrots don't have any natural thickener in it, so it'll be quite runny, really. Whereas I prefer a kind of soup that, like my mum called, stick to your bone soup. So I add potatoes because that's got a natural thickening agent in it, i.e. the starch, and you don't have to add things like corn flour or ordinary flour at the end to thicken it up. Again, leave the skins on. You don't need to top and tail these. Simply half it, then quarter it, and then just cut it into wee bits, like so. So it's about the same thickness as the carrots, because they can cook it about the same rate. Again, you don't have to be particularly precious about the size of the bits, really, as long as they're roughly the same size and thickness. If you get a wee black bit like that in your potato, just cut it out because that's a bit that starts to go bad. So you don't want that in your soup. Right, so that's your veg prep, as easy as that. It's literally just chop stuff up. Next thing we've got to prepare is the stock, so I'm going to just stick the kettle on boil. So like I said, you need 3 of these stock cubes and your big jug. Going to make about 1.4, 1.5 litres of stock. If you know how to make stock, you can make your own stock. I don't, so I just buy the stock cubes. It's the only thing that someone else has made for me to make this soup. It's easy to do it this way. That's why I do it. Should put the kettle on a wee bit earlier, so I'll come back to you when the kettle's boiled. The kettle's boiled. Put the 3 stock cubes in the jug, and you want to put in about 1.4 litres of boiling water. Okay, you need the boiling water because you need to dissolve the stock cubes, so just stir that about and you'll be able to see the water change colour and the stock cubes will gradually dissolve. You can see it there, still a wee bit of stock, so just kind of break it up. Right, once you're happy that that's all dissolved, get your gas on underneath the pot that's got the olive oil and the butter in it. You just need it on a kind of medium heat, enough to melt the butter and heat up the oil. That's the butter starting to melt. Again, you want this on a medium heat because you don't want to burn the butter. You just want it to melt into the oil. If it starts burning, and then that it just gives a burnt flavour to the soup at the end. So don't put it on a high heat. You can see how quick it's melting already. And it's just, you can just hear it starting to think about sizzling. So first thing I put in is the onions. Just bung it in and stir it about. What you want to do is you want to soften the onions, you're not frying them like, I don't know if you're having onions with a steak or with a burger or something like that. You want them to soften. Because again, if you fry them, essentially you could end up burning them and it just adds a flavour you don't want. You don't want a smoky burnt flavour in your soup. So you stir it about for a couple of minutes. And what you'll see, especially with the red onions, is you can see they're quite purple just now. The colour will actually start to fade as the onions soften. So it's quite easy to tell when they're kind of getting there. You can hear it's just a nice gentle sizzle. The butter's not changing colour, nothing's burning, you know. It's just, let's say that sort of level of gas, just kind of low to medium heat. Now you can see the onions starting to fade in colour a little bit. There's one there, and you can see the difference between some of the bits that haven't cooked so quick and some of the bits that have. So that's the onions softening down, so that's ideal what we want. That's been a couple of minutes max to get it to that stage. Again, it doesn't all have to be the same colour. You're just wanting to release some of the oils from the onion before you put in the main ingredients, and you can smell the onion, and if you've got a really strong one, you'll end up sort of crying a little bit because of the oils that come out of the onions. So the next thing is put in the carrots, just bung them straight in. And the potatoes. Oops. And you want to just give that a stir about to get them all kind of coated in the oil and the butter and get the onion mixed up. You don't have to soften these at all, they wouldn't really soften anyway. You just want to get them all coated with the butter and the oil. Just like that. Give the stock another wee stir just because it's settled a wee bit. And then pour the whole lot in. And 1.4 litres should just and no more cover your veg. So at this point you want to turn the heat up because you want to bring that to the boil. And add a little seasoning at this stage as well. So a wee bit of pepper. And a wee bit of salt. There is salt in the stock, so you only add a little bit at this stage, so you don't over salt it. Again, it's always best to add less seasoning because you can always add seasoning later. Everyone has different tastes, but if you add too much seasoning, then you can never take that out. So if you end up with a really salty soup, then there's nothing you can do. Likewise, if you end up with a really peppery, spicy soup, there's nothing you can do. So be wary of salt and pepper, and just add it gradually. So the gas is right up, full burn. And just got to wait for that to come to the boil. So put the lid on it, and we'll come back to it when it's got to the boil. Okay, so that's your soup boiling now, but you don't want to cook it like that. You want to simmer it. So turn down the gas until it basically just bubbles. Give everyone a wee stir. So that's it now, simmering. It's just bubbling away nicely. Put the lid back on. Cook it like that for about 10 minutes, and I'll show you how to test the veg to make sure that it's cooked. Fast. And to test the veg, just scoop some of it out, potatoes and carrots, and get your knife and just press it into the veg. If it goes in without any resistance, then it's ready, which this is. So, all you need to do is turn the gas off and take it away from the heat and let it cool down. The reason you don't blitz it just now is if you blitz it and some of that spurts out, then it's basically boiling hot water and you're going to burn yourself. So give it 10 minutes or so to cool down a little bit, and then we'll blitz it. So the soup's cooled down a wee bit, so now blitz it with a hand blitzer. So here goes, it's going to be a bit noisy. Sorry about that. So that should be it, pretty well mixed. You want to get most of the bits. Doesn't really matter if you don't get it all, you know. And just give it a taste and see what the seasoning's like. Okay. So to me, that needs more salt and pepper, but that's my taste. Again, gradually add the seasoning, don't add it all in one lump, because you don't want to over season again when you've just about made the finished article. Stir that in. See the lovely colour of the fresh carrots as well. Okay, give that another taste. Right, that's pretty much there. So that's it. That's how you make carrot soup. You chop up the veg, you simmer it for 10 minutes in the stock, and then you blitz it. It really can't be easier than that. I'll pour it into a bowl to show you how much we've made for the cost compared to what you get in a tin of Heinz. So you can see that. So 2 seconds, I'll do that. Okay, so here's the comparisons. This is the carrot soup I've just made. Remember, I made this for 84 pence, give or take a couple of pence for the olive oil and the butter, so round it up to 90 pence. You've got this big bowl of soup. This is 400 millilitres. That's what you get in a can of Heinz for 95 pence. Okay, you can see the difference. It just makes more sense to make your own soup. You know what's in this. It's really easy to make. It's really straightforward to make, and it costs less. Now I'll let this cool, and then I'll cling film it, and I'll put it in the fridge, and it'll keep for a week probably. I take a lot of soup to work. My wife eats soup as well, so we'll get through this in maybe 4 or 5 days. What you can do with it is if you get little Tupperware tubs and portion the soup into that, you can freeze it. You can keep it for as long as you want in the freezer. Defrost it the night before, and then you've got a portion of soup for that day. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you've got any questions, please add the comments at the bottom, and subscribe to my video, because I'll be doing more cooking stuff to show you how inexpensive and easy it is to make your own food and save yourself money at the supermarket. So, thanks very much.